Happy Wednesday morning to all of you. I hope that you are having a wonderful Wednesday morning. I'm enjoying a lovely, I don't know if you can see it, the lighting isn't the best on it, I guess, but I'm enjoying a nice vanilla espresso. Because it's really all it is. It's just an espresso with some vanilla syrup. Anyway, I have a question that I wanted to pose to you. This is a lovely morning. It's my kind of winter morning. That's not the question I want to pose to you. But I do have this question I wanted to pose to you. I'm standing outside of my office enjoying the fog. You know, it's the closest thing to wintry looking weather. You know, it's like, oh my gosh, it's so nice. For me, it's nice because it always goes well with coffee and nice classical music. Anyway, so I have this question that I want to pose to you. And the question is, if they are allowed to keep their sinners, why aren't we allowed to keep ours? That's the question. The other day I came into work, and for some odd reason I decided to push the VCR to see what was going to play. And yes, I still have VHS. When you're in communications, you have to keep all that kind of stuff. So anyway, and the Cosby show came on. And everyone knows how much I really love and appreciate the Cosby show. Here's the thing. Other communities are allowed to keep I don't want to say artifacts, but they are allowed to keep these icons and the works of great individuals. They are allowed to separate the sins of individuals from the contributions that they have made. But for some strange reason, our community is not allowed to do that. I don't know if it's because other communities do not allow us to do it, or we have set this rule that we must feel ashamed by or shamed by the sins of those who we admire. And the fact is, people are human beings. It doesn't excuse the behavior. But if certain communities here in America, if communities get to excuse the shame and the sins of the founding fathers, okay, they get to make it as if these men were deity in a way. We look at them as these great people, these great human beings who were so perfect, and yet they were extremely flawed, and we still value them, despite the fact that some of them believe so strongly in slavery that they would hunt down slaves after they had been freed. They would cause these people who have run away and claim them as property and felt they had the extreme right. And there are people who say, well, that was the way things were during that time. That's not a really good excuse, because the idea of human bondage in the way it was presented in this country did not start the moment people arrived in this country. It was something that was instituted. There were people of African origin. There were Africans here long before this country became a nation. So the idea of enslaving people was something that had to be taught. It wasn't something that they came over believing. They were taught, and they were trained to see it as the way to live life, and to see these people as less than human. Our founding fathers, not all of them supported slavery. Many of them did not. So if you have some who were woke to the understanding that slavery was evil, then that means that the ones who were willing to accept it or to turn a blind eye, they knew what they were doing, okay? So we love our founding fathers. We celebrate them. We honor them. I'm saying we as a whole, as a nation. I know there are many people who do not. But we're able to still value them. We take their writings and we see their works as great work. We see their contributions. The Library of Congress, for instance, a contribution to the world by someone we consider to be a great American. So if we're able to take their contributions, we don't trash their contributions. I'm trying to figure out, why is it that black people, people of African origin, we must always throw away the contributions that we have made? The Cosby Show, the one show that spoke to America. And as one of the members of the cast has said, it was the greatest PR for this country. The Cosby Show, it showed people a family that was celebrated, that was honored, a people of color, and so forth and so on. It was great PR for this country. It left a great legacy. It caused people, young people of color, to see things that they may not have seen in their homes. And those who did see, their mothers and fathers living, or their fathers and mothers, let me put that in the right order for those people who may get offended by that, but those who did have parents who had healthy relationships, it reinforced it. This show was a great show, and we have made this show about one individual, and we have punished the generations to come because of the sins of one man. And I don't understand why it is that we feel that we must do away with the Cosby Show. Okay, it has his name, but the show is a great show. It is a show that speaks hope to minority communities. It was a show that promoted education. It was a show that promoted young people, no matter what your struggle may be. We saw one character had a learning disability, but it said, even with your learning disabilities, even with the problems that you may have in your personal life, you can achieve. You just have to push, but you have the ability, you have the capability to push. It was a show that taught us about literature. It was a show that taught us about art. And I've said this so many times. It was a show that taught us about human kindness, how to treat people with dignity and with respect, even people we may not agree with. It taught us how to live as American people, how to be great Americans and to appreciate one another, to love one another, to live healthy lives in our homes when we go out, how children should be respectful, and even how children should respect one another, how parents should respect children. It was just a great show. And I don't understand, because of the sins of one character, one person, not even a character, one person in the show, that this is a show that must be done away with. I don't understand why television stations like Bounce, TV One, why they are punks. I don't understand why these shows feel the need to bow to the pressure of I don't know who. But I think the Cosby Show is a show that need to be brought back. If you have Seventh Heaven, if you have all of these other shows where you've had flawed individuals, they didn't take House of Cards off. They're not taking trashing all of Woody Allen's movies and saying, okay, we're not going to ever show these movies again. We're not throwing away all of the movies of whatever that dude is, Weinstein or whomever he is. None of their stuff is being thrown in the wind and no longer to be shown and to be seen. And yet, the stuff that has a positive message, a great message, it was the one show that spoke of life for a minority community. And if you think about it, every single show, just about, that has a strong black cast on television right now, every last one of them are the opposite of the Cosby Show. Every last one of these shows, they show dysfunctional families. They show strong black women who have serious issues. Strong black women who are incapable of having integrity. Strong black women who are deceptive. They show families that the behavior is just ridiculous. We don't see the positive message. And it's okay to show diversity of us, but when just about all of our shows, all of the shows with strong black cast, there is something wrong. There's something dysfunctional. You have shows where there are You have a husband who's on the down low and he's been gay, and so now you've got this family that's broken up. We don't see any strong, positive families anymore where the children are, maybe there's one, I don't know. But we don't see it enough. We see dysfunction. We see strong black women who have serious issues, who they just can't be a positive role model. And I don't understand why we have to have these kind of shows, but we can't have the other side. I just think if you're going to have one, we need to have the other. And I think the Cosby Show needs to come back. I think that Bounce, TV One, whomever, need to stop bowing to the pressure of the other communities. It's not about Dr. Cosby. The Cosby Show is bigger than Dr. Cosby. The Cosby Show is about American life, about American people, about communities in America rising above, standing strong, living history, becoming the future. It is a show that speaks to minority communities and say you can accomplish anything that you set your mind to do. You can go out and you can not have the American dream, but you are the American dream and you can live it. And we need to have shows like that say, guess what? It's not about trying to go and obtain the American life, but it's about being the American life. We need to see these positive role models. I'm sick and tired of seeing shows that demean black people. There's more to our community than one side of us, we're great, but we're dysfunctional. We need to know that black families are strong. We're talking about all the stuff that's going on in our community, the crime that's going on in our communities, the divorce rate, the single parent homes. Then we need to bring back positive messages. We are a reflection of the things that we see on television. Television and movies are not a reflection of human life. Human life is being dictated by the things that we see. And the Cosby Show, A Different World, these kinds of shows prove it. Because young people, we saw other young people going to college. Young black kids said, hey, I'm going to college. I'm going to go to universities. I'm going to obtain an education. I'm going to go to a 2-year college. I'm going to go to a 4-year college. And I'm going to be the first in my family to get an education. Something's going on. But those kinds of shows, they gave us hope, and they told us that we can achieve these things. They told young black people, you can have a marriage and it can be successful. You can have a family. You can work. You can thrive. The leave it to Beaver and Father Knows Best was not the reality of America. It was not the truth of America. It was one small group of Americans. It wasn't speaking to the whole of America. But the Cosby Show, one of those shows that spoke across cultural boundaries. It was a show that spoke across waters, across the pond, into just about every country. It was a show that brought people together and brought healing and allowed people to see that, you know what? Greatness is not about color. It is about the will of a human being to persevere against everything else and to realize I am the dream. I am the hope that my country needs. So my thing is, I want to see the Cosby Show come back. So I just don't get it. Maybe someone can answer me and inform me, why is it that other communities get to keep their sinners, but we must cast ours away? And even not the sinners. Why is it that other people get to keep the benefits of their sinners, but we are always forced to discard what was given to us? Dr. Cosby did what he did. Whether he was guilty of the things they say he is, I mean, the mere fact that he was unfaithful as a husband, that is shameful. That is horrible. That many women that he slept with, that is disgusting. But it doesn't diminish the greatness of what he gave us as a community. And I mean the community at large, not just ethnically. that he gave the community of human beings, he gave us one of the greatest shows in America. So I think we should still have the Cosby Show, because it's a benefit to generations to come, and I think generations to come need to see it, because it is still relevant. It is a show that's very relevant, and not only relevant, but it is a show that is still needed. It is a show that is needed to encourage young people to dream big, young ladies to see that you can be respectful, you can be great, you can do great things. And it's not about having the right job, but it's about walking in integrity and living a life to touch someone else, that you make your life about living to touch other people. So, okay, you can tell me, why is it they get to keep the benefits of their sinners, or keep their sinners and cherish them, and we are forced to give up ours? Have a great Wednesday. Talk to you soon.